like myself, I wish my body count was higher. And I'll explain this to you, right? When I die, I want to be judged for something, baby.
Real quick,
I
I
want to
hate
be
to. Did you
judged.
say higher?
Yes, I want a higher one. Yes, I do. I wish I had
I was
made a
just making sure.
mess. I wish I had made a mess. But you know what I'm saying? I can't even tell my kids, if they ask me, Mom, did you ever do this? Did you ever do this in terms of, illegal substance? There's nothing I can tell them. There's nothing I can tell my kids. I have lived a very corny, boring life. I really have. When you go back and look at my life, I'm there. When I get judged, when my final day is approached, God is going to laugh at me. Literally, that's my biggest fear. Like, I'm so serious. I feel like I haven't lived. Like, I'm 40 years old and my number is literally fucking four. And for me, I'm sorry, but it's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Like, what have I been doing? You know what I mean? Like, what have I been doing? Like,
Let me
all of us don't think the same way, you guys. It's not I'm like, what have I been doing?
let
What have
me
I been doing? Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
everyone please mute up. I'm gonna just go ahead and before Miss Tyree talks, I'm gonna just play this like again. Like I said, again, I don't care what any woman does with her body. I'm not someone that comes on this platform and you know uh puts myself out there to be some relationship coach or some relationship guru. I don't care what anybody does with their body at the end of the day. Like I said, there's consequences to everything we do, positive and negative. So any man that doesn't want to, get up and work hard and make something of himself, he's going to suffer the consequences later. Women that want to get tossed around and passed around like Spalding, they're going to suffer and then when they don't want to live like that anymore and they want to settle down and get a certain type of man, they're going to suffer the consequences of it later. I'm going to play something that my business partner Marty said, and then I'll give the floor to Miss Tyree. Women control access to sex, so whether a man deserved to sleep with them or not, quote unquote, deserved to sleep with them or not, they wanted to sleep with him, so saying he didn't deserve it is BS. True or false?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely true. Like, here's the thing that ladies, you got a lot of power. There's a lot of things you got control over. And one of the things you got control over is you're in control over what you set your price at. And the thing that you got going on is that whatever you choose to sell it for, right, that's what it's worth. So if you go to a club and you meet a guy and he buys you a drink and you screw him in a bathroom or in his car or you go home with him, then guess what? Your shit is worth the cost of a drink. It's $18, right? For a Long Island, top shelf, right? At the bar. If you give it away because it's a vibe and he ain't even have to buy you a drink and you paying for somebody's Uber so they could come over and take you to Pound Town at 2:00 in the morning and they don't have to do shit for you, give you any form of commitment, any level of commitment, none of that. And then guess what? Your shit is worthless. And that's not because men say you're worthless. That's because you say you're worthless. Because what a man has to do to be with you, and it's not what he has to spend, but what he has to do to be with you is absolutely nothing. Zero investment of time, zero investment of having to get to know you, zero investment of having a genuine interest in you as a person. Nothing. It's just a vibe. Because body count don't matter, right? So you single independent, you can do what you want, and it's your body and it's your choice. So you can fuck on whoever you want. And that's cool. But the way that it works is that responsibility and freedom are inextricably tied together like stank and shit. And when you have freedom and you make choices, consequences are tied to that like stank and shit. And the consequence of giving yourself away for the cost of nothing is that it's worth nothing. So for her to say that I went ahead and I lowered myself and I gave men who didn't deserve access to my body, you didn't give nobody nothing that they didn't deserve. It costed whatever you let them pay for it. And if they spent some money on some drinks or if they bought you some red bottoms and took you on trips and bought you some things that are sitting on the floor in your closet now, right? And that's what you paid. And you let somebody dig around in your body, grab a handful of your hair, you know what I'm saying, and blow a load in your face, then that's what it was worth. That's what you're worth. And that's not men's fault. It's your fault. If you want to sell your house for $1, it's worth $1. That's not because it couldn't be worth no more. That's not because the market is fucked up. That's not because of the patriarchy. That's not because the buyers are liars. That's because you sold your house for $1. You get to set your price, ladies. And if you set it at a drink or a vibe, or he's got status, or I'm a fuck for a come up like this woman has, then that's what you worth and that's what you are. And any man that sleeps with you, he deserved to get that punani for however cheap he could get it. And that's your fault. Nobody feels sorry for you. Your body, your choice.
Hold on, Miss Tyree. Let me play one more video before
Hey, no, you gotta come on because Miss Tyree gotta get up and go to work in the morning. Like, I got clients tomorrow. Come on.
Let me, because this, I need to give you as much ammo.
When can I start talking?
Well, number one,
after Miss Tyree.
but number one, I'm not gonna respond to anything that came out of his mouth. No way. So if you want me to respond to anything that Black Jesus said, you wasting your damn time.
Go ahead.
Anyway, first of all, I only chimed in because when his name is Reblex, when he was talking about how women don't count this and women don't count that, I was in here weak because he ain't lying. He ain't lying. He lied about that. But here go my question right to what you got up there. You said other races of women are attractive too. Here go my thing right here about this whole body count situation. How are Black men talking about body count matter when y'all advocating for going to countries with passports for women that y'all don't even know the body count of? And more than likely, these women are going to have a higher body count than the average Black woman in America. I ain't telling you what I heard in the street. I'm telling you what I know to be factual because I done been there before. How is that? How is that? How you talking about body count matters? You got all these rules and these standards for Black women in our community when y'all talking about going overseas where literally you can damn near pay for sex for $1 American dollar, for $1 US dollar.
Couple of pesos.
No, it's not anecdotal information, boo. I've been traveling overseas and been stationed overseas and lived overseas for 24 years. You ain't gonna tell me what's anecdotal.
So Miss Tyree, again, listen, I don't care what women do with their bodies. It's not my body at the end of the day. And I personally, I had a whole passport bros. I'm not an advocate for the passport brothers. I don't support the passport brothers. I think any man, me personally, I think any man that is having trouble or can't find one woman in his city, in his state, in a whole country with the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, if you can't find one woman that, to get on your program, then I think that's more indicative of the man, than it is the woman. Now, I'm not going to sit here. Mike, somebody just sent you a galaxy. I'm not going to sit here and try to make it seem like, the modern woman is not the modern woman. No, the modern woman is what the modern woman is. And,
you do realize that women was having just as much, if not more, sex outside of marriage in relationships that they were then than they are now.
Okay, Mr. Free. It doesn't matter what women think or what they want to do. At the end of the day, men do not want to walk in a room with a woman that 75% of the other men have been with. You're a six-figure earner, right? You talk about how you have expectations for men when it comes to money. A lot of other women have expectations for men when it comes to money. So it doesn't matter that you used to be a hoe and that you're not a hoe anymore and that you're reformed and this, that. It don't matter why you 40 something years old making 40 something $1,000 a year. Nobody owes you nobody has to hear about why you're in the position that you're in. Nobody owes you that understanding. So it doesn't matter.
What you're saying is just move then. So basically what you just saying, just move. And I know that you're not talking about this whole thing about, because trust me, I know you're not this whole passport bro movement, but I'm just speaking for a woman who always has these men in the comments of her lives and on her videos talking about passport bros go and all this different stuff. So what you're saying is So what you're saying is a man will go overseas and get a hoe, marry her, and bring her back, and it's cool as long as the men in the room don't know she a prior hoe because they haven't slept with her. Like I'm trying to get
That's not what I said at all, Miss Tyree. Again, I'm not an advocate for the Passport Brothers. All I'm saying is, as a woman, I don't care what women do with their body. If she wants to be a hoe, if
But
she wants
you
to
do
sleep
care.
with 50, one sec. No, I do not. You can't tell me what I do and don't care
You
about.
said you don't care. You said you don't want to walk
One
into it.
second, ma'am. I'm not done. I'm not
Oh, my
finished
bad.
talking.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Okay. If a woman wants to sleep with 50 men this year, I do not care. But if men don't want to be with her because she's been out here getting passed around, she needs to accept that men don't want to take her serious. Again,
But what I'm saying is, I really need you to take some time and process what I'm saying. It's
okay.
this whole thing going on in our community about body count and body counts don't matter and all this different stuff about men wanting women who have low body counts, who are traditional, who are this and that, and they're advocating for literally going to other countries. It's this whole campaign going on telling black men to leave America and go overseas and get women from other countries that they literally do not know the status of their body count. They don't know anything, right? That doesn't sound so when you sit up there and you say, well, men don't care about, men don't want this and that, so you willing to take a gamble and go all the way over there and get with a stranger who you do not know her body count.
I'm not a
But
part of
at the
I'm just trying
part
to
of those
figure
Nick,
out.
men.
Nick,
just real quick, but at
I
the very
You gotta ask the other men on this panel. Again, I'm not part of that. I'm not a Passport Brother. I don't advocate or support the Passport Brother. So you can't ask me that. You gotta ask Michael or Rebel that.
I'm not a passport bro, but I do know at the very least the difference is when they come home, they don't gotta yelling Tasha talking about why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? You don't do enough. John at work, he gets Becky this. Why can't you give me the brand new Mercedes Benz? You a bum. They cook for them. They're clean for them. They're very appreciative
Rebel, how old are
of their
you?
man. They
How old are
look
you?
feminine. They look feminine.
Okay,
Oh,
Rebel,
no,
You
how
know,
old are you?
you're trolling right now because
how
How old
am
are
I
you?
trolling?
because you just
How am
took
I
a
No, no,
trolling?
no,
you
no,
took
no.
a
Hold
single
on.
situation
How
and you
old are
just
you?
blanketed with all black women.
I'm
Like,
old enough to
and
understand
but you
what
called them a
feminine and
Tasha.
what feminine is and isn't. I'm old enough to understand
Feminine? So
why a lot
black
of
women
these
can't be
men
Okay,
go
so
out
feminine?
of
I'm
the
gonna go ahead
country
and
for
go
these type of
because one
women.
thing
So black
is,
hold on. Are
one
you
thing
saying
I
black
don't
women
do
can't be
is get on
feminine?
the
Is that
one
what you're
thing I
saying?
don't do. I don't play with
But
children.
hold up.
I don't play with children. And my
He
thing
20.
is,
He's
He's 20.
I'm a
trolling.
grown ass man. I ain't no
okay,
He's
you
totally
he's
child.
trolling
28.
right
Okay,
now
Stop
because
playing
okay,
with
that
that
me.
doesn't
explains
make
it
any
all.
sense.
I
Because
pay bills. I got a good credit score, probably better than most of these chicks' baby daddies. Stop
good
playing
for
with me.
And
you.
then
You're
you
supposed
assume
to
that
have
people
a
have
damn.
baby
You
daddies. You're doing the
good
whole
for you for
stereotype
doing what
thing.
you're
Are
supposed
you
to
are you
damn be
black?
doing. You're supposed to
You
pay
sound
your
like a
damn
What do
troll.
you
bills.
mean stereotype? Do we have to
You're
pull up
supposed to
the
pay your
data?
bills.
But okay, if going by what you're saying, I should have babies and a baby daddy with bad credit. Going by what you just said, you put me under a blanket as a Tasha. You literally call like you're doing it as an example that black women are going to be doing this. That's why men are going across the nation to find these
So why
women
do you think they're
because
going across the
all
nation
You
for
these
their
real
black
health?
quiet.
women,
You
hold
real
on, all
quiet,
these
Mike.
black women are just nagging them. Are you serious right now?
So you think these men are going across the country, getting their passports, doing this, that, and the third for their health?
One
I
thing I've
think
I
these
noticed,
mean,
men are
okay,
going
there's
over
got to
there
be
and
a
doing.
reason,
Hold
right?
on,
one
sis.
thing
Hold
you asked
on,
the
sis.
question.
Hold on,
One
because
thing
then
I
I'm gonna go
have
ahead and
noticed.
hang up.
One thing
I'm
I
gonna go
have
ahead and
noticed
hang
about the
up, right? Because I
passport
got
bros,
clients in the
they
morning.
all have a certain look. It's a dusty look. A
Hair
lot of them
profession.
are
Hold on. I'm gonna
dusty.
let you
A
take the
lot of them
floor, right?
cannot
Because I gotta
afford
go.
more
I
than the
think the reason why
passport.
these men
They
are
can't even
Do you know?
able
afford
to
more
go.
Hold
than the
on. Hold on.
passport.
Hold on.
Real
Hold on.
quick,
Let
one
Miss
at a time.
Tyree talk. Let Miss Tyree talk. Hold on.
Okay.
I think the reason why these men are able to go
Going to do.
overseas
They
and get
haven't
these
done anything.
women who are fit and who are cooperative and all this different stuff that you guys say is because they literally were raised in environments that were built by their men that allows them to be feminine, that
Yeah,
allows
she was
them to
talking about.
be fit, that allows them to do all these things. So yes, of
What are you
course,
talking about? The
Uncle,
poverty levels in those other countries are
can I
much,
finish
much higher
talking?
than
Hold on.
Can
America.
I
Let her
finish
finish talking.
talking?
Okay, I'll let her finish.
Like I'm saying, when you think about the environment that black women with black children, the black community has been in for the last 35, 40 years, How do you expect the women to be when we're literally raising children in impoverished, crack-filled, gang violence-filled communities? In our schools are poor, and we're facing mass incarceration and all these other things. How do you expect the women to be? How do you expect the boys to be? Because when you look at it, you talk about all this different stuff about, oh, well, I got this and I'm doing that. But when it comes down to the black women and the black men in our community, we both need to do some damn work.
I have a question.
Real quick, I just want to answer a question. What also, like, you saying the impoverished and the poverty and their crack-filled neighborhoods? What do you think is going on in Thailand? Do you think every neighborhood in Thailand is sugar and spice and everything nice?
The reason
Do we have
why
to look
I
at the
don't wanna
poverty?
the reason why I asked
And
your
they
age
hold on,
because
and
you weren't even around to see what the black neighborhood looked like before crack. You got to see what the shit looked like after the fact. You didn't even get to see what the community was looking like when it was thriving, when there was all black businesses, when there was black schools, when there was black churches. You got to see the shit after the damn fact. That's why I asked you how old you were. Because you sit up here and you talk like you know what the fuck, like you just know some shit when you don't even know how good the community was before all this gang violence. No, you were not. You weren't even born.
So I can't study about it?
You were not even born.
Let me ask you a question. Just because you weren't born doesn't mean you can't study about it?
Listen,
so people who weren't born in a certain age, how do they study history?
You were not even around to even know what it's like. You were born literally when the shit had already started going from sugar to shit. You wasn't even present. So no, you're not going to sit up here and talk to me about what's going on in the community.
Real quick.
When you wasn't
you
wasn't even here when the shit started.
So how do we know about history if people weren't born in that era or age? So we just, if I talk about George Washington right now, you don't, why are you talking about George Washington? You weren't born in the 1700s. Why are we talking about Africa back in the day? But you're talking about it hold on. We're talking about it in a sense that I wasn't born in that era. I wasn't born around that time. So because I wasn't born around that time, I wouldn't know about it. So how do we know about things before that we weren't born in that era or that age? You are always study about it. You can always ask people who are around it. You can always look up videos about it. It's 2023. You can always find out information about that age, even if you weren't born around that age. So to tell me I wasn't born around that age, so I don't know, it's foolishness.
What have you read? Tell me what you've read. What have you read? What have you studied?
Hold on. I have a question.
Have you spoken to?
I just want to finish my point. I was really interrupted. I never got to finish. I never got to say anything.
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Hair perfection.
Oh, okay. What I was saying was, I had 3 questions actually. Going back to the body count thing, when I hear people say that women lose their value the more men that they date or fuck or whatever. Oh, I curse, so I wouldn't get kicked out. Anyway, women lose their value. So doesn't that mean like the guys are the ones that make their value go down? Like if women are like, are guys really like a prize of anything? If you're having, if you're getting with all these people and every time you get with a guy, your value goes down, does that mean like the guys are the one that make your value go down? And then secondly, back to the guy I call the troll rebel, he's trolling because he's basically stereotyping everyone. Like if you're going to call black women Tashas, that means I'm supposed to call black men like Pookies and Ray Rays. Like, I don't feel like black men are like that. I don't feel like black women are like that. So if you're going to like box these people in like that and just assume that this is why all black people are doing this or they're all nagging. I know a lot of women are very, submissive to their guys if the guys give them that room to be that way. But if you're not doing what you're supposed to do or providing or protecting, of course you're probably going to get somebody that's nagging. And that's in every race. Because white women are very queen of nagging when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So I don't really understand why you're saying, oh, yeah, this is why there's passport bros are leaving because, black women are all yelling at them and telling them they're not doing this and that. If they have to yell at you because you're not doing this and that, It's probably because you're not doing this and that. There's no woman on this earth right now that just wants to be yelling at dudes all day or nagging at men. Nobody wants to do that. So why would you think like black women just want to do that because they want to? It's obviously they're probably with someone that's not like stepping up or doing what they're supposed to do. So that's
So,
basically what was my point.
uh, I want to respond to that. To me, that's a very disingenuous sentiment. And let me tell you why I say that. Because you are, with your words, you are inserting that, let's speak specifically about black women, that black women are perfect. So if the man does this, she will
I never
automatically do
said
that.
black women are perfect.
But
I said
I said your words are inserting or asserting that that's the case.
I
That
feel like
she's just automatic. And
with
I've heard
you,
you're not the first person that made statements like that. Well, she will automatically submit. That's bullshit.
I'm not saying
Human beings,
automatically.
excuse me, let me
Okay,
finish,
go
and then you
ahead.
can rebut.
Go ahead.
Human beings, human beings don't automatically submit to anything. That's the imperfection in individuals. If that was the case, every rich man would have a long-standing marriage. There's probably more divorces amongst wealthy people than there are broke people. Probably, because I'm saying I'm not looking at data, but just from anecdotal, you can probably see there's probably more divorces that go people with money or affluent people than there are people that's on a lower scale. So if that was the case, then that would just be the case. Now, reason I'm saying that is because what we're talking about is not what we talk about is a culture that's we have a problem in our community. That's why I asked you, talker, are you advocating for black men to stay here? Because you said, well, because if he chooses to go over here and do
Here's
something, if
No,
you
I'm
no, I'm
all
not
if you
about
advocating for
I'm
let me
y'all to
finish.
stay
I'm all
here.
about men and women dating who they want. My issue is when you have to say, I'm dating this race because my race ain't doing not. Like, why do you have to do that? Date whoever you
Because
want.
that's his perspective.
No, but
Why
If
do you
if black
care if he
hold on,
date
says anything? If
because
why
here's
would real
wait,
quick?
why are
Why
you
would you
trying
care if someone
here's the
says
thing.
something
Here's the
about?
thing. Here's the
Why would
thing.
you care if someone
If you're
says something
then you
about
need to
someone you
make
don't care? If
then you
someone
need to
says
make
something
hold on,
that
why
I
you
don't care
I
hold
about,
on,
I
Noble,
can
why
give
hold
two.
on,
you're
Rebel,
asking
hold
four
on, Rebel,
questions.
let her finish, let her go.
Okay, so basically this. If you dated somebody and you had an issue with them, right? Now you've moved on to a different race. You only need to speak on the person you had an issue with. If you had dated Jessica and Jessica was a nagging, annoying black girl, you'd be like, okay, I'm dating a white girl now because Jessica was a nagging, annoying black girl. But what people do is, I'm dating a white girl because black women, like, hold on, did you date black women, all of them, or did you date Jessica? Like, why do you have to blanket everybody for just one or two people that you broke your heart, whatever they did to you? Why do you have to blanket everybody because of that? That's my issue because it
Okay,
makes
I
you
have a
look
Here,
like
question for
real
you.
quick,
Hold on, Rebel. I have a question for you. Do you have that same energy when it's done to black men?
I do. I feel the same way. When I hear anyone,
Cap.
men or listen, when I hear men, women, anyone, if you have to shout from the rooftops on a megaphone, hey, my baby daddy ain't ish. Number one, you make yourself look bad because you got pregnant by this ain't ish baby daddy. So now you're telling the world that your baby daddy ain't ish, right? The person you had a child with. Now you announce it to the world. Your baby daddy ain't ish. He don't do this, he don't do that, but that's a bad reflection on who? You, on yourself. That's how I feel. If you're going to be talking about, oh, well, I'm about to give me a white man now because my baby daddy ain't ish, so black man ain't ish. How? You only been with one ain't ish baby daddy black man. So how are you going to blanket all the black men in the world and say black men ain't ish? That never makes sense to me. I'm a logical person. So I'm not going to say that. I don't talk that way.
Oh,
I don't speak that way. But when we want to do statistics, we can do statistics. Yes. I'm not going to invalidate anyone's experiences. Of course, you men, you women have probably like had bad experiences with whatever race, but that doesn't apply to the entire race. Is what I'm trying to say. Whatever experience you had does not apply to the entire race, right? But it can be statistic wise, more of this race does this. I agree. I will agree with that. If someone said, oh, a lot of black men don't really make more than 60K a year. I'm going to agree because statistics are going to tell me that. Period. It's not that I'm saying black men don't make money. I'm not saying I don't know any man that don't make a black man that's not a millionaire. I know black men that are millionaires. Are all black men millionaires? No. So I'm not gonna just put everybody in this blanket like y'all doing. Y'all just speaking in blanket terms. It doesn't make sense to me. That's all I want to say.
Listen,
Okay.
it isn't all black women, but there is enough black women to bring it up for concern. If there is enough of a population acting a certain way, you have to bring it up. If enough people are doing something, right, they're breaking the law, they're doing something they're not supposed to, you can't say all people, but you do have to bring it up and talk about it.
I don't know. So, and to Rebel's point, when we say culture, when we bring up something and we use the word specifically culture, it simply means that it is more prevalent, that we have to address it as a culture, as a group of people. And if anyone's up here says that we don't have a problem in our culture, are being disingenuous. You're not being honest. And then if we ain't gonna be honest, we can't fix the problems. We cannot fix the problem if we're not being honest. And that's the issue that we're having. The problem is our culture. And so, and when I hear people talk, they talk about, and let me tell you something. Do you know why really we're seeing other women from other cultures start to advocate for black men? It's not just because black men are very desired. You know what's really happening? They are being tired of being insulted by black women, because you just had
Hold
a
on.
woman come on here and say, and we've all seen these videos of women going, you're going over there and you're taking advantage of these poor women, and you're speaking derogatory of women in other countries, which making these women go, whoa, who the hell are y'all to be talking about us like this here? So if
And this
that's
has
how
been
you
into us for hundreds
if
of
that's
years.
how
Hold on, hold on. Guys, we need to talk one at a time, okay? Please, when somebody is talking, do not interrupt them. You are going to get an opportunity to talk. Let's stop cutting people off, okay? That's what we're not about to do. Go ahead, Michael. When Michael is done, you will get an opportunity to talk, Rainbow. And then Perfection, you will also get an opportunity to talk. Stop cutting people off. Go ahead,
yeah,
Michael.
and I know how to land. I don't run on. Um, so that's what's happening. So if you're going to insult with your statements and your rhetoric about these other women, that's really what they're responding to. And if they're receiving it this way, what do you think black men are receiving over here directly from the black women? And so when we stand up and say, nah, well, we're not going to do this no more, then the response is, well, you can do that, but don't have nothing to say about me. Bullshit. We'll have what we want to say about you. And I'm not a passport brother. I support the passport brothers. I support them for wanting to go out and say, look, this ain't working here for me. This is not working. So I'm willing to go over here and try something different. That's called expanding your horizons. There's nothing wrong with that. I encourage everyone to do that. I encourage a woman to do that. So if you're unwilling to do that, and if you're unwilling to change, then you don't have something to say about a brother. Because if it ain't, as we all say, if it don't apply, let it fly. So if it ain't you, then what you concerned about what he has to say about what his experience has been?
You done, Mike? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Rainbow.
Okay, you're sitting here talking about how we degrade them, but what have they done to us for hundreds of years? From the beginning of colonization, from us being on the slave ships to Jim Crow to Black Lives Matter, we have been by your sides. We might nag. Every woman nags. I'm Afro Latina. I'm Black, and I have Latina culture. I got white relatives that are Latina that act out just like Black women. So for you to say that is simply erroneous. Simple as that. Just because the color of a woman's skin, that doesn't. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I can't. This is just like some of the dumbest
Sister,
stuff that I've heard. Like,
sister, no
do
one
y'all
said
not
anybody.
understand what has
Sister, no
caused the
one.
rift between Black men and Black women?
it isn't us. It's white supremacy. Point blank, period. They don't want us to be together for the simple fact of the matter is we outnumber them worldwide. If we come together, we can cripple this economy, but we don't want to do that. I don't understand.
Sister, no one said anything about someone's color of the skin. We said culture. I specifically said culture. I started out my statements with talking about a culture. A culture is the way people live, their values, their moral systems. Our culture is bad. Our culture is not healthy. Do you agree or disagree with that?
There are a lot of cultures that are not good.
I'm talking about
You don't
ours.
know what goes
Are
on in
you,
other cultures because you are not
sister?
part of other
You're
cultures.
deflecting right now. You're deflecting. I said ours. Is our culture bad?
Yes,
Okay.
but all cultures have bad parts in them.
Okay. We can't fix all cultures. We can only focus on ours.
I understand that, but at the same time, if we're not coming together as a people, how are we supposed to fix it? If we
Okay. So
have
if you,
divide
okay, go
between
ahead.
us, how is that supposed to work?
Right. Okay. So if we're going to come together as a people, how does that manifest? What needs to happen?
Accountability. Stay with your families. If you don't want to be, at least stay in your children's lives.
Okay, great. I 100% agree with that. Okay. So let's say me and you, we don't work out together. It didn't work. Hey, it just didn't work. Should I have to go to court against you to have to be in my child's life?
If you are not healthy for that
No, no.
child,
Answer my
yes.
question directly. If it just didn't work out with me and you, should I have to fight you to go to court to fight against you to be with in my child's life?
If you're doing the right things, no.
Okay. So what? So how come so many men, including myself, have had to go fight in court just to have the right to have my children in here with me right now?
Do you not understand what I just said about white supremacy and not wanting to keep the family
What?
together?
Okay, white supremacy ain't got nothing to do with this.
How
This
not?
between
You're
me and
going to
you.
court. That thing was set up
This
by
between me and
white
you.
men.
Real
How is
This
quick,
I,
between
I'm just
me
gonna
and
say this
you.
real
huh?
quick. Why do you black women complain about the white supremacy, but then you partake in the white supremacy when it benefits you, the family court system? If you don't like white supremacies that much, you shouldn't be partaking in leveraging the family court system, which is quote unquote white supremacy, to your benefit.
Okay, so what was I supposed to do when the father of my children was beating my ass and nobody was helping me?
Okay.
Was I
So
what
so
was I supposed to
so
do?
so he listen. We don't want listen. If he's beating your ass, you get out of there. All right. That's your right to do that. No one says you should be taking that sort of abuse from anyone. Vice versa for men. Men actually experience more physical violence from women than the other way around. No one should stay there and did it. And I can attest to it because had I stayed in my marriage, I likely to have been in jail because of the abuse. So no one is required to take abuse. But what does that have to do with my children? Because you and I didn't work out. How come the culture can't be? How come this is culture? This is just the way we live. There are cultures where the children go with the father. The data says that children emotionally fare better when they're raised by men. So
Okay,
if that is the
so
case,
who set up
if
the gender roles?
I'm sorry, I don't care. But
Who
I'm
set
not.
the
I'm not
gender
here to
roles?
discuss gender roles. Listen, I'm not here to discuss gender roles. I'm here to discuss simply what's better for children. I don't care about white supremacy. I don't care about this, and that. What happened in 1902 and 1804 makes no difference
How does that make
because
no difference when it
I'm
literally
gonna tell
set
you
the
why. I'm gonna tell you why
foundation?
it makes no difference. Because once I can see the roadblocks in the road, it's my responsibility to go over them or go around them. So if I'm the asshole to keep slipping over the same goddamn roadblocks, then I'm an idiot. So what we're talking about as black people is the same goddamn roadblocks that's been there for forever that you can clearly see. So either you are submitting to the roadblocks, or you're actually trying to do something different, or you're just an excuse maker for why you haven't
I
done what you
did
wanted to
something
do in your
different. I made sure that my children didn't have to go through that and repeat the cycle. Letting my daughter get her ass beat, letting my son beat on women. How did I not get around the
life. No,
obstacles?
I understand that. I don't know your situation personally.
And
I don't know.
we're not talking. He's not talking about your situation. Can we this year when we have these conversations? Can we stop when we're clearly having a general conversation? Let's stop trying to make it about us and our personal situation. Nobody here is happy that you went through what you went through, but we're not talking about you. We haven't been talking about anybody in their specific situations since we've been up here. So let's stop doing that. You clearly know that he's talking about in general. So let's keep it on in general.
Yeah, and I
So
sympathize
you
with
all
anyone who's
using
been through stuff,
so
sis.
you all using anecdotal. Okay, I'm done because y'all can use examples, but we can't. All right, goodbye.
Yeah.
No, sis, don't be done. We're not saying that.
Goodness.
Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
Goodness.
Well, but see,
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Rebel. I don't want to hog no comment. Go ahead, Rebel. If you're going,
Go ahead here, Perfection. Go ahead. We're talking about something in general, but let me make it about me. Let me make it about me. Let me make it about me and my situation, so it can fit the narrative that I want to get across. No,
I forgot what
nobody
the
nobody
point
cares.
was.
Nobody cares about you and your narrative. Nobody. No. If you want to come up here and talk about your personal situation, we don't care. Don't come up here. When we're having these conversations, nobody has a live and says, "Hey, I want you to come up here and we're gonna talk about you." No, we don't care about you or anybody else. We're talking about in general. Don't make it about you. Go ahead here, Perfection.
Oh, I just want to say something real quick. Right now, what you just talked about, it baffles my mind. They say there's no more good black men, but they keep picking the ass whoopings and the
Why you
felons. Like,
always talk right
goddamn.
before I gotta talk? You always do that. Right when I'm about to start talking. I was basically gonna say, the whole situation, we already know about, um, socially what's going on race wise with black people. So it's not really, it's kind of redundant trying to bring that up, trying to say, oh, yeah, because, the man is over us. We get that part. But what we're talking about, what we can actively do in situations and relationships that that we have power over, not stuff that we don't have power over. Systematically, we don't have a lot of power in certain things, but relationship wise and how we interact with each other, I think we have some sort of power over. And then when I hear like all these blanket racist stereotypical statements, it's kind of like you're just keeping it up. Like we don't need it from other people too that look like us. Like, why do we need that too? I can't stand to hear when people of my own, complexion and race talking about, oh yeah, I'm good off black women because, and it's not even, it's like whatever they're good off doesn't even make sense because it doesn't apply to all black women or all black men. I just feel like it's negative and doesn't make any sense. If you want to date anyone out of your race, please go do so. I date all races. I don't think it's anything wrong with that. If you like the person. But people feel like they have to find a reason. So do you really like them or are you just trying to get back at black women or black men? Oh, I like Sarah because because she doesn't yell at me like Taisha does. Like, wait, are you still thinking about Taisha? Like, aren't you Sarah now? Does it matter? Like, why do y'all have to do that? Like, it's like, do you even like Sarah? Or do you even like Billy? Like, or white some black women will date white men, but only if they spicy white. I'm like, nah, you really just want a black dude. But because you can't get the black dude to act how you want to act, so you're gonna get you a little Chad, but make him a little Brad, give him a little lineup, and make him spicy white. I'm like, that's not even a white person anymore. This is a like, what is that? So I don't get it. I really don't get it. I will never understand it, and I feel like y'all should just date who y'all want. Don't try to change them, and don't list reasons of why you like this person, but your reasoning is from your past broken up relationship with a black person. It's weird.
I 100% agree with you on that. Perfection. And I Black men do that, but black women do that as well. I'm not trying to be tit for tat, but if we gonna talk about, if we just having a general discussion, let's acknowledge that both people do that. And yeah, I agree with you. Nobody should be doing that. It's wrong. It's wrong both ways. I don't think any black man or black woman should be, dating another someone of another, ethnicity or nationality and then shitting on, the fellow black brother or black sister. I agree with you on that. Lower Ward, welcome, brother. Official,
How
you've
you
been
doing?
sitting patiently for a minute. I want to give you a. Did you want to speak before I let lower Ninth Ward speak?
No, go ahead, hon. Let him speak.
Okay, go ahead, Ninth Ward. Welcome, brother.
Good evening. Good evening. Well, good morning. Um,